There comes with some sky on the panel. I need an FM transmitter for church. Which model to buy for $150? What else do I need? Antennas. I've never done FM short range.
Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, so there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. Make sure, number one, that it's FCC certified. Also make sure it has a SO239 and an RCA antenna connector. A good choice would be the Rolls HRS84. Somebody mentioned Rolls yesterday when I was asking about pocket mixers, but they also make a digital FM tuner. Now, Sky, is this for a drive-in or inside a church? What's the application?
Yes, we will be having people parking in the parking lot because we can't be next to each other. And so we want to broadcast to about 50 to maybe 80 cars in and around the building.
So the antenna is either going to have an RCA output or an SO239. I highly recommend you get an SO239 because you screw it on. It's a PL259 like you'd have on a CB or ham radio antenna. You screw it on. So I would go with the Rolls HRS84. It's $139. You may have to hunt around for it because I see on Amazon it's back ordered till December.
Good.
Can you put a link in the chat? And what's the distance? Is it 300 feet?
Distance, they advertise 200 feet, but your distance is variable based on your antenna. You can build a killer antenna with a lot of gain and get a lot more distance out of very low wattage.
Are those omni or are they directional? Like a microwave?
You can go either way. You can go with a beam. There's a whole variety of antennas. I'll try to find
this is way deeper than
I also.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead, John.
Paul, I got a question for you because the church that we're affiliated with is trying to do the same thing, but they want to handle like 200 to 400 people, 200, 400 cars. My engineer was talking to me about it. He said the problem that he sees with it is by the time you get cars in and dead spots and you end up building something with so much power that you're going to need an FCC license. Do you feel like it's going to be the same way on something like that?
It's a narrow line between broadcasting outside your venue and staying within your venue. With a beam antenna, either vertically or horizontally polarized, you can probably engineer it to stay within that radius, but you're going to have to design it. It's going to have to be a designed antenna, and the antenna is the big thing, more so than the radio. You also want to make sure your radio doesn't have spurious emissions. So you want to use good coax and good wire so that you don't have any bleed over or anything like that. I'll try to put some things in the chat, to help
would
out.
Dead spots with basically with signal canceling be a concern to you once it starts bouncing off cars and all that kind of stuff?
Not so much. I think you can pretty much overcome that if you have a good antenna, directional antenna, and
or an omnidirectional in the center of mass.
You can do it.
I mean,
you could combination of omni and directional.
But I think that the thing to think about is an omnidirectional in the center of your parking lot might be as effective as that's relatively high up can get is going to give you a lot more. But we've definitely covered a fair bit of range, especially outside, without a couple watts. And again,
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not. You can get hundreds of feet with a good antenna. Now. It also depends on ease of use and how many people you want to supply. There is a solution for the industrial solution, of course, is a Comtex, right? You give people that they can somehow, that's what the Church of the Latter-day Saints did. That's why we have it in Hollywood. It's because they needed to handle languages and broadcast and everything else over large numbers of people. Go ahead, Mickey. Whoop, lost you, Mickey.
The budget constraint was one thing I kept it under the budget.
FM's easy. I mean, in that sense, and you can get there's a lot, and everybody's got a car. Not everybody, but most people have cars with those, and you can get headsets that are $3 with or little receivers that are $3 that have headphones that
for $17 they will plug into your cigarette lighter. Little FM transceiver.
And I think the HRS, the Rolls HRS84 is just a digital tuner. It's not a transmitter. They do make a digital FM transmitter, I think a HR70 or something, and I'm not sure that's broadcast.
HR70 is a digital transmitter, but it may not be in the broadcast band. I'm not
I
sure.
need it. I would assume I would need a transmitter.
Yeah,
what
I
I
think
do.
that's what you're talking about, something that broadcasts
Yes,
within
please.
the standard FM broadcast band that can be picked up by a car radio. So,
That's what I need.
I mean,
The
88106.
HR70 is a transmitter. It's a
yeah, the
transmitter.
70 is a transmitter.
and the
but
one that
the
I've used in the past,
86
which is
a receiver.
which is funny, it popped up when as soon as I did a search, probably because I popped up. There's a sign Stec ST7C FM transmitter for church or drive-in movie. Might be a place to at least look. So
Well, I did that in Amazon and like 35 options showed up. And that's when I just went,
Well,
I gotta
I
go
can-
to the crew.
I can tell you that this is the one that I have used this version in the past, an earlier version of it in the past, and it worked. It worked well. It was very but it was a smaller room. It wasn't a whole. It was a couple hundred. It had to go a couple hundred feet. So that was it.
Yeah, we'll work within the limitations, but I just, again, we're limited budget, but we're wanting to try to figure out
It's
how to
100.
stake it.
It's $100.
There you go.
Yep.
Can you put that in Bocana, please?
Yeah. Go ahead, Nikki.
And to think
Yeah,
that I'm trying to do the same thing that John is doing is, wow.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind, like I had a Zoom storm earlier, and I dropped out for like a minute. But yeah, one thing to keep in mind is your friend is height, in terms of not being so much affected by all the metal in the cars. You want your transmitter to be at a good height so that you have essentially a line of sight to each antenna of each vehicle. And also take a look at Listen Technologies. They make assistive listening products that are used in like museums and such.
Yep.
And they may have products that may work for your
I think we do have a hearing impaired, a much smaller version of that already. But, and as you said that, putting the antenna up on the roof sounds like a good idea.
That's why they
All
build
right.
transmitter
Next
towers.
question.